Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. Good evening. So let's do a check here. Can you hear me? Sounds like a song, doesn't it? Can you see me? And we'll get some responses here. See if we are actually live. I hope we are. Um, good evening, Scott Hummer, Kaylin Strain, Sue Me. Oh, good. Scott says I did something right. I hit the right button somehow or other. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Gosh, if you're joining us for the first time this evening, gosh, we're so happy to have you. We have a great group of people in chat. Strongly recommend you get to know them. They have a lot of great ideas, very friendly, courteous people that they're willing to help you any way they can. Just what a phenomenal group we have. Strongly encourage you to like and subscribe. We do this every Monday evening at 8 o'clock. Right now, we are working on survival theory, and this is a phenomenal book by Jonathan Hollerman. Remember, he is the guy who took up the cross after Dr. Peter Vincent Pry passed away. So he is our advocate on EMP CME to Congress. I just got in a brand new book yesterday. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, Total Resistance. This is written by an NCO, non-commissioned officer, senior non-commissioned officer in the Swiss Army, and what they intend to do as an underground if anybody were to ever invade Switzerland. So oh wow, it's called Total Resistance. Okay, great book. Man, oh man. But anyhow, the Swiss really have it together. Of course, they have very mountainous terrain, and to get from one part to another, you've got to go through all these mountain passes and very defensible land. Extremely defensible. I love Switzerland. Don't like the cost of living there, but I do love it. I do love the country. Helen and I went on a drive. The funny thing is, we were stationed way up north at Checkpoint Alpha, just south of a little town called Helmstedt. And so Helmstedt and Magdeburg. Helmstedt was on the West German side, Magdeburg was on the East German side. We were stationed about 12 kilometers south of there in the town of Schöningen. It was called Detachment Wobeck. It was a remote intercept site, listening in on primarily the Soviet 3rd Shock Army, 1st Guards Tank Army, and 8th Guards Army. And then, so we had our first vacation, and we had only been married. As a matter of fact, we got married the day I was supposed to sign out of Goodfellow Air Force Base. Yes, and our soldiers can get assigned to Air Force bases. That's where the intelligence school is. It's joint service. And so we got married the day I was supposed to leave there. And then she followed me 6 months later. So we got to Detachment Wobeck. So I decided, well, we'll take our first vacation down south. And we drove through Switzerland and everywhere else. Lo and behold, they got appointed warrant officer about 3 or 4 months after that. And where did they send me? They sent me down to Bavaria, right where we had spent our vacation. So we weren't that interested in driving through Switzerland again, but we drove through Switzerland to get to Italy. But what a great place. Let me tell you. Anyhow, on to this book. Let me see. We got Utah Mike has joined us. Little Lone Prepper, good evening. Ex-NYC OG Prepper. There's got to be a way. Let me see if I can do this here. Let me click on your 3 dots here. And let me see. Yes, so I can add as a moderator ex-NYC standard moderator. There we go. Yeah, so congratulations, ex-NYC. You are now a standard moderator. As is, I'm going to do the same thing with Shenanigans. So Shenanigans has been with us quite a while. Patty's Garden, I will probably do the same thing with you here in the very near future. So the only thing I ask is that you help me keep the channel clean. Just no arguing, no bickering, no disrespectful people. I deleted a comment from one of my videos today. It was from my pantry haul over the weekend. I try to put as few political comments and things as possible. And somebody was very anti-Semite and told me that I needed to get out of I forget what it was, but it was a very derogatory term. It's okay to disagree with me. You can disagree with me all you want to. Just provide facts. And if you do it respectfully, then it stays up. If you start calling names or implying that somebody's ignorant because they don't believe the same way you do, then you're gone. Okay, that's all there is to it. Teresa Buchanan, good evening. Good to see you as well. Uh, Let me see, and I think I saw Phreoxerus. Okay, so anyhow, but as long as you're nice, polite, respectful, and you can disagree all you want to. I prefer to see facts instead of just straight feelings, but feelings are okay because they're justifiable as well. But anyhow, for example, I'm not necessarily 100% in sync with this book. He is of a bug out concept. I'm of a hunker down concept. Um, I don't think that. As a matter of fact, I got into a chat with a young lady this morning on a channel where I'm a moderator on Facebook, and the question was, should she go to a tornado shelter if there's nuclear fallout? I tried to explain to her that I don't think there's going to be any fallout because there are two countries that probably would want to do surface first where we had fallout: North Korea and Iran. They hate us. They want us gone. They're willing to sacrifice everything we have in this country in order to annihilate us. And that's just the way it is. All the other countries are going to do like we did to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They're going to use air bursts, and that's very minimal fallout. So I was trying to explain that to her. She, didn't understand. But anyhow, she wanted to know where she should bug out to, and I said, that's the proverbial question. If you don't, I think that the assumption that Mr. Hollerman has in his book, in this book, is that he has a place to bug out to. He has a pre-purchased plot. He has a log cabin or something out in the woods. He's going somewhere that he owns and he can assume is going to be secure. If you don't have some place that you can go to that is pre-planned, boy, that's an oxymoron, that is planned. You do planning ahead of time, and pre-planning is planning before you plan, I guess. I don't know. But anyhow, if you don't have a place that is planned, stocked, locked, then you don't have a place. So why are you bugging out? 5 core bug out bag essentials, chapter 11. Good evening, everybody. So here we go. I mean, I almost ran out of ink in my highlighter just on these 2 chapters. Just phenomenal information. Get this book. That's all I'm going to say. I got to get a puff here real quick. I'm starting to wheeze a little bit. Okay, so number 1, water purification. The 5 core things. Number 1, water purification. He strongly recommends chlorine dioxide and iodine tablets. I meant to go get it. I prefer Aqua Mira, and I'm looking it up here just to make sure I'm right. Yeah. Aqua Mira, yeah, fantastic, great. Aqua Tabs, there we go. Aqua Tabs is the one that I have so much of that it's pitiful. But anyhow, he recommends that you get something like Aqua Tabs, chlorine, or chlorine dioxide, or iodine tablets. Iodine tablets is what we were issued in the Army. Really good stuff as well. You can also use unscented chlorine. But remember, when we purify water, we want to remove heavy chemicals. We want to remove protozoa. We want to remove bacteria. We also want to remove some heavy metals and things like that. So there are several different things you have to take into consideration when you're purifying water. Just one treatment, most of the time, is not going to be sufficient. You're going to have to do a multiple or a layered approach to this to purifying your water. One of the things he has highlighted here on page 100 is never use your clean water vessel to draw water from a dirty water or potentially dirty water source. Okay, so what do we mean by that? So here's my water bottle. Okay, and so everything in here has been purified. Okay, this is my dirty water collector. So I'm going to use my dirty water collector to scoop the water out of the dirty water source. Then I'm going to have my water purification system, whatever it is, and I'm going to pour from my dirty into my pure. But notice I have not contaminated this by putting it in to collect it and then having to go through and refilter it back into that. Because how are you going to clean it unless you use clean water that you purified? Okay. So you always want to keep the two separate. This is your clean water. This is your dirty water. Never the two shall meet. In between the two is some sort of a filter. Uh, so that takes up a whole. He gives a whole bunch. He gives some outstanding recommendations as far as quality of products that I have highlighted. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I want you to buy the book. Okay, buy the book and do your own highlighting. He recommends the Sawyer Mini Purifier. I prefer the Survivor Filter Pro. The reason I like the, well, besides the fact that it's a 0.01 micron, but the Survivor, let me see if I can get a picture of it for you here on Amazon. Okay, so I have two of these, as a matter of fact. Purchased January of, last one was purchased June of 2022. Let me, come up here, will you? Okay, so here we go. Where am I? I need to get up here and then I can share screen. Share screen and Amazon. So this is the one I prefer. This is the one I have, and I'll show you why. Because it is a pump. It's, oops, let's see here. It says purchased 2 times. Last purchase, June 6th, 2022. Okay. So you got this pump, and when you pump down on it, it draws water from the initial filter here. This is going to go into your dirty water source, and then it gets sucked in through this tube, discharge tube, into whatever clean water vessel you want to have. So this one, you can put it, I think the tube is like 3 feet long. This one, it's only 1.5 feet or 2 feet long. But anyhow, you can get in between the two, between the dirty water source and the clean water source. And this is a pressure system, so that when you push up and down on the handle is what you're using to basically cause the water to go through the 0.01 micron. I think it's 0.01 micron. Let me check here. Let's see what's. It says that it does 500 milliliters per minute. And I am 99% certain that it's a 0.01 micron system. So I'll put a link for it in the show notes. But I have one for my bug out bag and I have one for here in the house. So it only weighs a couple ounces. It's not that heavy. And I don't like the straws, like the life straws, things like that. I mean, because one reason is the only way you use them is to suck water in from a contaminated source through the filter into your mouth. Okay. So if you want water for a cup of coffee or to add to your mountain house or anything like that, then basically what you have to do is you have to suck it in and expectorate it into whatever you want to cook. I don't like that idea. The other reason I don't like the straws is because you have to get your face down within whatever length that straw is, that close to contaminated water in order to use it. Unless you do something like scoop it out with this, okay, and then basically suck it, stick the straw down inside of your dirty water container and suck it through that. That might be an alternative that you might like. He recommends Catadin MPI purification tablets. Like I said, I prefer the Aqua Tabs. The next thing he strongly recommends, so the first thing is water purification. The next thing is talking about fire starting kits. I've got a short on fire starting. I show a whole bunch of different ways. One of the things I'm going to recommend you get, regardless of what kind of a fire starting kit you have, see if you can't buy a collapsible bellows or straw, metal straw that you can use to blow on the embers to get a good flame going. And most of the kits that I would recommend that you get as far as a fire starting kit are going to have some sort of a bellows in them. It just gives you the opportunity to get a little bit of oxygen concentration on your embers, which will cause them to burst into flame. He recommends some fire starting things such as Coglin's fire paste, wet fire tinder cubes, trioxane tablets. I don't like trioxane tablets. They stink. They stain. They will permanently stain your cook gear and everything else. You can't get it off. It's just a terrible chemical. I have some. I don't like them. I will probably only use them to start wet fires. So if I have wet wood or something like that, I may use a trioxane tablet to start a fire. But I'm not going to use it in like a Coughlin or Coughlin stove, the fuel tablet stoves, Esbit stoves. I might use the Esbit fuel, but I wouldn't use the trioxane, simply because of the odor and how offensive it is as far as its residue. So that number one, water purification. Number two is a fire starting thing. Number three is a knife, a good knife. He recommends a couple here. I checked on them. He recommends, where was it? Benchmark bushcraft knife, about $165. Now that's when this book was written. Cold Steel SRK is about $70. I love that knife. A friend of mine, as a matter of fact, I'm having breakfast with him tomorrow morning, Craig. I gave him an SRK for a present one time. And it's a good knife. I like it. I looked up the USAF survival knife that he recommends in here. It's basically the same thing as the USMC combat knife. A little bit smaller. I think it's 1.5 inches smaller, but it's same design, same, it's made by a different company. It's made by Ontario Knife Company, whereas the USMC fighting knife is made by K-Bar. I have the K-Bar. No, I don't have it here. Do I have it here? Nope. I traded out. I have the K-Bar next to my bed. This is one I would recommend. It's less than $100. This is the Mora Black. Okay. It comes with a fire starting ferrocerium rod. It has a sharpener on it. It is a full tang knife, believe it or not. It's one of the few full tangs that Mora makes. It's a Scandi grind. It's about $85 if I remember right. But that's a good knife. I would recommend that. I did a couple of videos here recently. My good friend Prepping with Sarge has recommended a couple of good. One of them was an Odin Wolf knife for less than $50. A fantastic knife. Then there was another one that was a bushcraft knife from, let me see if I can go into here. Amazon, once again, recent orders. I think it's called Bushcraft is the name of the company. But they have another, this is made in Ukraine. So, but it's a beautiful knife. Yeah, Beavercraft Bushcraft knife. That's less than $50. Both of those, the Odin Wolf W Scandi and the Beavercraft Bushcraft, both less than $50. Both of them good knives. Both of them full tang, 1095 or better steel. Just, I can't say enough good about them. Now, if you want to do these $165, $200 knives that he recommends in this book, I would say go for it. I have a couple expensive knives. I love my LT Wright Genesis. It was like $235. But I will tell you, I can't tell that much difference between my LT Wright Genesis and my Condor Bushlore. And the time when I got the Condor Bushlore, it was $40, and I think now it's up to $75, $80. Good knife. I mean, probably not as long term as the LT Wright Genesis, but I would say it's a very good, acceptable alternative for it. So, you can find some good knives that you don't have to lose your left leg and your right arm in order to afford. Your EDC blade should be somewhere between. Now, he recommends a 6-inch blade for your survival bushcraft knife. I do the same. I like a 4 to 6 inch blade knife. Once you get above 6 inches, it's just too unwieldy. Just get a hatchet or something to go with it. He recommends that your EDC or your folding knife should be somewhere between 3.5 inches in length. And I carry, neither one, well, this one I know for sure is no longer available. This is a Buck Revell. So this is what I carry in my right pocket. And then in my left pocket, I carry a Rat 2 by Ontario Knife Company. If I can find it here in my pocket. There we go. So this is an Ontario Rat 2. And I keep it in my left pocket. So I carry 2 pocket knives with me all the time. He makes a couple of recommendations. One is $150, one's $70. He recommends a Kershaw for around $30, Benchmade $95, Gerber for $35. That's basically what I paid for my Buck Revell. Is about I'm going to say $45 maybe. He also recommends getting a multi-tool as part of that knife. So we got 3 different kinds of knives that we're going to have with us. We've got the fixed blade, the ADC or folding knife, and then some sort of a multi-tool. He recommends the Leatherman Sidekick. I have the SOG Flex. I think it's called Flex. It was about $79. I like it. It's a fantastic little tool. I also have the Schrade version of that, but I prefer the SOG. Okay. So, water purification. What was the second one? Oh, gosh. Fire starting. Water purification, fire starting, knife. Now we're going to the 4th category, which is a flashlight. You've seen my collection I keep over here. This used to be my #1 favorite, was Nebo. I sold these at my store. I thought they were really good. I bought a case of these, of this particular model. And then I had 2 of them. I pulled them out of the box and this button does not work, okay? So I tried to return them to Nebo, and Nebo made it so difficult to return them just to exchange. All I wanted was one that worked. They wouldn't do it. So I no longer deal with Nebo anymore. I prefer, oops, just made a mess. All of my magnet chargers were stuck to it. I now prefer Olight. So everything I'm doing right now is going with Olight. And this is another Olight. And this is another Olight. So I'm going pretty much with Olights right now. The one thing I like about these is that they are all USB rechargeable. Okay, so you don't have to worry about batteries. So this, the magnet here just attaches to the base of your flashlight. This goes into a USB-C port, and a couple hours later, or a little while later, whatever, you've got a fully recharged flashlight. I like things that I can use with USB to recharge. That way you don't have to carry a whole bunch of different batteries either. He recommends Streamlight, Surefire, Phoenix, and Olight as his recommended brands. I wholeheartedly agree with the Olight. Streamlight, Surefire, Phoenix, if you want to send me one to take a look at, I'll be happy to accept it. I have not yet gotten a free flashlight. So if anybody wants to send me one, I'll be happy to take a look at it. Nightcore. Then he also recommends you get a headlamp. I have headlamps. Matter of fact, I just bought some new headlamps. That was in my pantry haul here 2-3 weeks ago. I bought a new Olight headlamp. And then I also bought one that's a red light headlamp because red light doesn't diffuse. So if you're looking at it from the side, if you don't see where it's originating from or what it's splattering off of when it hits an object, then you don't see the red light. You have to be in direct line with the red light in order to see it, which is a great safety precaution. He recommends 1,000 lumens for your headlamp. Make sure it uses the same batteries as your survival flashlight. I do. I want USB rechargeable. So, that means that's it. Okay, the last one he recommends is a first aid kit. I'm going to be a contrarian here. He says build your own. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to recommend that you get a IFAC from a reputable company and have that as your group IFAC. Why do I say that? I want standard first aid kits in my group. Remember that the first aid kit that you wear, you're not going to be looking for the materials to take care of somebody else. Your first aid kit is to take care of you. The best way to make sure that your buddy who's going to be getting into your first aid kit to look for something to treat you knows where your contents are and what contents are in there is if he is carrying the exact same first aid kit. That's why in the Army, we have standard individual first aid kits, and they're packed the exact same way. So I know what my contents are. And if I know exactly what my contents are, then I know exactly what your contents are and where they are kept. And that's one of the beautiful things about the Army is the standardization so that I know my equipment, therefore I know your equipment, therefore I can take care of you. Okay. So that's just my little thing on that. If you want to build your own, fine. Just make sure you're building that same piece of equipment for everybody in your group so that they are exactly the same. Okay. And I see Tammy Harder said that. She made her own. But please understand why I'm recommending that you have standardization of first aid kits, same components, same location, same holder, everything else for all of that. Okay. Okay, chapter 12, bug out bag supplies. He starts off talking about rations. He wants you to have between 2,400 and 3,600 calories per day. He recommends MREs and LRPs, long range patrol rations. My expert here is Kaylin. So Kaylin, if you want to chirp in, please feel free because I see you as being the MRE expert in the group. But anyhow, he says, take your MREs and tear them apart. Okay. There's no need to carry that plastic bag. There's no need to carry a whole bunch of things. In his opinion, you can throw away the Tabasco bottle. All you need basically is the entree. I would say I would want a couple other things. I like the breads and desserts. I'm kind of spoiled that way. I like the coffee and the fruit drink. So I would make sure I added those as well. In his main 3-day bug out bag, he carries 2 LRP MREs, 3 Mountain House breakfast meals, 2 regular MREs, and a dozen Clif bars for a 4-day trip. Oh, speaking of which, right now on Amazon, look up Mountain House yellow curry chicken and rice. It's on sale for less than $7 a bag. I ordered 4. So you can get yellow curry chicken and rice, Mountain House, for less than $7 a bag. Strongly recommend you pick those up. But remember with Mountain House that there's no cooking involved, which is great. We used these when I was in Boy Scouts at Philmont Scout Ranch. One of the first years that Mountain House actually produced them, as a matter of fact. But all you have to do is boil some water, add it inside, let it seep, stir it, make sure everything's well constituted, let it warm up for 5-10 minutes, and you got a meal. Scrambled eggs with bacon. I mean, there's all kinds of great meals. So and they're quick, high calorie, easy. They are tasty. Now I'm going to tell you the truth. Do not expect to be served the same thing as you would at a 5-star breakfast restaurant. Okay, it's not going to happen. But it is palatable. It is tasty. It is something that you want to have with you in an emergency. Let me see. Uh, he wants to make sure you also have a poncho. So, and as a matter of fact, I was going to do a video on something else. I was going to use this as my example for my tarp. I'll do one on how to tie down tarps. But this is my military poncho that I was issued in the Army, and I've kept it. It's a great piece of gear. This is the lighter weight version. So I bought this one to replace the thicker, heavier one that they had issued to us, the Vietnam era type of poncho. Man, that thing, it was heavy. Seemed like you sweated so much that you were wetter on the inside than it was on the outside. He make sure you include some toilet paper or wet wipes in your bug out bag. Uh, he talks about making sure you stay safe and clean and sanitary because dysentery, cholera, and things like that come from not taking care of yourself, not being clean. Um, he recommends a small bottle of hand sanitizer. I think he's probably talking about those little bitty ones that have the purse type. I would go a little bit larger. I think that's a 2 ounce. I would probably go for the 4 ounce. Remember that this is a combination of aloe vera and alcohol, so you can squirt a little bit onto a piece of wet wood to start a fire because it is highly flammable. So I would say go with the 4 ounce size. That way you can use it to sanitize your hands, but you can also use it as a fire starter. He says make sure you have plenty of moleskin. I wholeheartedly agree. Moleskin, foot powder, and socks, extra socks. I always carry 2 pair of socks. I wear 2 pair when I'm out in the field. I wear cotton under socks and then wool over socks. So I always have my boots a half size larger than I would normally wear so that I can constantly wear 2 pairs of socks. The one thing you take care of in the Army is your feet. Let me guarantee you, your feet and your stomach. Um, those are the 2 most important things. You got to be well fed, and you want clean food. You don't want to have to go through 4 rolls of toilet paper an hour. He carries extra batteries for his flashlight. I don't. Instead, I carry a small solar bank, and the one that I have has a fold-out 4-screen solar bank, so that with a USB charger on it, so that I can lay that on the top and back of my pack as I'm walking, with the solar panels picking up the electrical charge, and then I can recharge my flashlight, my radio, anything else I want while I'm walking. Um, he recommends a long-handled titanium spork. I hate sporks. Just use a spoon. You know. Um, he likes duct tape, emergency blanket, um, an escape bivy. I agree. Bivvies are phenomenal. A bump key padlock set, and he gives you the brand that he recommends. I showed one at my last pantry haul. I didn't want to mention it because there are some people who say that that's kind of borderline. Should you have it or not? He talks about extra pairs of socks. I carry 3 extra pairs of each, cotton and wool. I keep them in Ziploc bags so that there's no chance that they get wet. Make sure you have an extra moisture wicking t-shirt, a pocket chainsaw. I just bought one. I had the old, I don't know what you'd call it, wire saw. I've had 2 or 3 of those. I'm not that happy with them, so I bought, and I showed on my last pantry haul that I finally broke down and bought a pocket chainsaw. I think it was like $27, but we'll see how that works. I've never used it. I don't know yet, but he recommends it. A good folding handsaw is the way to go. Well, I'm kind of a minimalist. If I'm going to have a pocket chainsaw, what do I need a folding saw for, and vice versa. Just do one or the other. I wouldn't add extra weight just to have 2 different types of saw. You're going to have either a knife or a hatchet. Crying out loud. He tells you which folding saw he recommends. Good quality compass and maps. He recommends good quality compass. I agree with the compass he recommends. It's what I have. He recommends for a sleeping bag the military extreme cold weather system. which is a combination of about 4 bags. Okay, one fits inside the other, so you can incrementally increase the amount of um, area that you are covering yourself with, the amount of uh, distance between you and the outside temperatures. I just have the cold weather. I don't go with the extreme cold weather. It doesn't get that cold down here in Texas. I mean, I may have seen it below zero once or twice in my life, but we typically a freezing day for us is around 30, maybe 20 degrees. So normal cold weather is going to be fine for us. But if you're up north, the extreme cold weather system, let me tell you, part one of the military cold weather system, I'd have to go into the bedroom, is the whoopee, or better known as the poncho liner. I bought one of the first poncho liners when they first came out in 1978, I think it was. I was at Fuel Station Augsburg, living in the Bachelor and CO quarters. And on my bed, I did not like having to make my bed every morning. Okay, so what I did was I had my bed made, and of course I had my OD green wool blanket on top, and then I slept on top of that. So on top of that, I would cover myself, and this is in Germany, in the Alps, in Bavaria. I would cover myself with a whoopee, a poncho liner, and one wool blanket, and I was fine. Um, so I'm a believer in the poncho liner. I'm a firm believer in the wool blanket. He recommends having a 10 by 10 tarp, and how you can get those right now. I don't know if it's still going on or not. Harbor Freight was having their parking lot sale, and all their tarps were on sale for 50% off. You might want to check and see if they still are. I picked up a couple tarps. I picked up a 10 by 12, a 10 by 10, an 8 by 10. I picked up I think four tarps over the course of the sale this last weekend. And so that's why I want to do a deal on how to tie those tarps off. I also, while I was there, picked up a I knocked my mic off. I also picked up a grommet making kit. So basically, I can put new grommets anywhere on a tarp or blanket or anything else that I want to for a tie down. So I thought that was a great deal. I lost one of my magnetic chargers when I showed you my flashlights. So I'm gonna have to dig for that here shortly. But that's pretty much it. That's the 2 chapters that he has this evening. A lot of good stuff. I mean, I highlighted so much stuff in here that it is pitiful. It's just lots of great information. Next week we're going to go through additional stuff, and there's something there. I've got a couple of them that are tabbed. I think they were so good, so important. They're books that he recommends. One of them is. One's a book, and the other's a flashlight that he recommends that I wanted to check out. But yeah, so I mean, just great book, great details. Don't forget that in the back he's got where my blue tab is. He's got a great bug out bag checklists on things that you want to have. My recommendation, okay, and this is just Lee speaking, so you can. I know there are going to be people out there who may agree, may disagree. I don't know. I'm reading something from Tammy Herter. Okay, Lee, Augustin Farms breakfast dinner variety pail is on sale on Amazon, 40% off for $58. Wow, great information. Thank you for sharing that, Tammy. Can I pin that? I don't think I can do that here in YouTube. I could if we were in StreamYard. Okay, so Tammy says go to Amazon, take a look for the Augustin Farms breakfast dinner variety pail, 40% off. Thank you for sharing that, Tammy. Greatly appreciate that. I have some Augustin Farms stuff, and I have not yet been disappointed. Yeah, I do have a jacket on. My wife and I have different temperature requirements. Okay, so I am a native Texan from West Texas, where it gets really really hot. She's not, of course. We're at that age where we have totally different bodies and everything else. She keeps the house at 74 degrees. I prefer to have it at 78. So this is my compromise. I let her be cool at 74, and this way I can stay at about 78, and I'm happy. So it's just a compromise among old people, right? Uh, Her body requires one temperature, mine requires a different, and so it's easier for me to stay warm with a jacket than it is for her to try to cool off. But I mean, when she's in a room, okay, right now she's back in the back room with the in the bedroom with the dogs, okay, so that they don't bark and everything else. And I bet you, if I had a mobile camera and we went in there, she would have the ceiling 74 degrees. She's got the ceiling fan on high, and we've got a portable fan beside the bed that she's got pointed at her on high as well. So that's just the way we are. Different strokes, different folks, different bodies, different temperature requirements. Uh, Let me see. So yeah, so all I have is a t-shirt, and this is kind of my. I want to say it's kind of like my pajamas. You know, can I say that? I don't sleep under the covers. I tell you, ever since I was in Germany in 1977, I do not sleep under the covers of the made bed. So Helen sleeps. When she gets ready to go, she'll get on the sheet. I don't. I stay on top of the sheet and just have this. So that's all. Uh, Let me see. Oh, Utah Mike says that Canadian Tire is the same thing as Harbor Freight, or similar to Harbor Freight. Okay. Um, Tammy, Tammy understands what I'm talking about. I think all older married people have the opposite temperatures. My husband is always cold and I'm always too hot. That's us. And it's the same genders. Okay. I'm too cold. She's too hot. And so she wants to be cooled down. I want to be warmed up. Yeah. So, yeah, that's just, I think that's post 60 living is what we call that. Uh, but anyhow, okay, so that's where we are. Do me a favor. If you are planning on bugging out, make sure you have a place to go. Otherwise, you're just a refugee. Um, I guess we can take this last couple of minutes to share some good news, but I'm not as optimistic as some people might be. And I'll try to stay away from the political side of this. We've had some strange things going on for the last 10 days, 10, 12 days, something like that. Between Israel and Iran. Now, I'm not going to get into whether it's right, wrong, who started it. That's all. What we have to understand is the International Atomic Energy Agency, the United Nations, the United States, most of the Arab countries in the Middle East do not want Iran to have nuclear weapons. So, there's been this thing going on now for Bill Clinton was negotiated with Iran about it. Ronald Reagan did. Both Bushes did. Obama did. Carter did. No, Carter didn't. Carter was president when the embassy was taken over by the Iranians. Let me see. Bushes, Obama, Biden, Trump. Okay. And we've tried all different kinds of things to deter their ability to acquire a nuclear weapon. Now, this morning, there was a 5.2 earthquake not in a fault zone in Iran, and so there are some belief that was an underground nuclear test explosion. So Israel has been going after Iran, trying to what we call prepare the battlefield. Okay. And so that means taking out a lot of their primary defenses so that we can use more offensive weapons, taking out their surface to air missile systems and things like that. Then over the weekend, we had 6 or 7 B-2s from Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri, fly over and drop and the number keeps changing, so I'm not going to quote a number, but some probably around 6 or more GBU 32 bunker busters. These go down 200 to 300 feet into the earth before they explode, creating a tunnel, a funnel. Then the next one goes down, it can successfully drill down. And that was to take out their underground nuclear development facilities. Of course, Iran then says, well, the United States attacked us, we have to attack them. But now, this is where it gets kind of funny. Iran called both Qatar, which is where they attacked the US military, and the United States and said, hey, we have to save face. You attacked us. We have to save face in front of our people. We have to attack you back. However, we're giving you enough warning to where you can vacate all of your equipment and your personnel. So we don't destroy any of your aircraft, and we aren't going to just kill any of your people. Okay, we're giving you advance warning. But we just have to do this to look good for our people, saying that we did what we had to, and we kept our word. So they attacked our Air Force base in Qatar, and then shortly thereafter, President Trump announced that there is a ceasefire going into effect in about 2 hours from now in the Middle East between Tehran and Jerusalem, between Israel and Iran. So it appears that we have now achieved some sort of a ceasefire and hopefully an ongoing peace. I think that's great news. I think our prayers have been answered. We definitely did not want this to escalate. We're going to look back on this historically, and it's going to be analyzed for years and years and years. All I can say is, thank goodness that we are not escalating the war. Now, there were, I'm still wheezing. God, let me get another one here. I'm not going to use the evaporator tube. Now, one of the generals came out over the weekend, yesterday and the day before, and threatened us with his terrorist cell network inside the United States, that they would be rising up. I have placed a lot of credence in that. I do believe that there are at least 500, if not 1,000, terrorist operative cells in the United States. Remember, we've had wide open borders for 4 years. We have captured some people who are on the terrorist watch list and expelled them or denied them entry at the border when we saw them. But how many got through that we didn't know about? So there are terrorist cells in the United States ready to be activated. So we've got this ceasefire. Do the terrorist cells know about the ceasefire? Okay. Can we trust Iran? Okay. There's an old saying in Greece, and this is back in the days of Theophiles and those and Socrates and everybody else. It says, "Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you." No. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, we know that so far, Iran has never kept an agreement that they've subscribed to. So how much credence and how much veracity do you put into Iran saying that they're going to have the ceasefire with Israel? We can hope, but as the Russians say, doveryai no proveryai. We can believe but verify, trust but verify. Doveryat is the root verb, which is dover is to check or to. No, dover is to have faith, and then proveryat is the root verb, the other root verb, and that's to check. Veritas or veryat is truth, and so proveryat is to go towards the truth, so to verify. So we're just going to have to keep on it, and I think we're in a lot better situation now than we were 24 hours ago. But that doesn't mean we need to stop prepping. So let me go back up, and I saw a new guy, Gunswater, Good evening. Welcome. Good to see you. Welcome. Rip Curl Readiness. Wow. Thank you for being here. Uh, the Oxford's had a cable saw, broke it. Now he has a hand chainsaw, but he's never used it. Well, if you use yours before I use mine, let me know. Um, um, yeah, I assume you're saying he doesn't see the point of a saw for a bug out bag. I assume you're talking about a folding saw or something big. Um, but yeah, I think other than I had that little wire saw, uh, but gosh, 2 fingers for a saw that doesn't make too much sense. Um, and then I have the saw that's on my multi tool, but that's an inch and a half, 2 inch saw, nothing that great. Um, Let me see. Uh, so XNYG OG Prepper says it changes every minute. Can't keep track. Doesn't matter. We still prep. Amen. Amen. Um, the world is just waiting for something to happen, and we don't know what it is yet. But something is going to happen. Uh, I'm just glad that the Straits of Hormuz stay open. We've had gas go up 20 cents. I filled up the pickup yesterday, Saturday. I filled up my pickup at Costco Saturday, and it was 238. I filled up Helen's car today at Costco, and it was 258. So it's gone up 20 cents in 2 days. Um, so I'm just glad that the Strait of Hormuz will be open. Uh, Kaylin says that she's well aware. Let me see. No, Fiacre says he's well aware of the history. I also believe we must allow for the possibility that certain people can be persuaded to join the 21st century civilization, and that's on a lot of different angles. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think there's a. Uh, I told somebody the other day. I was in a discussion. I said, there are two types of Trump derangement syndrome, and I firmly believe this. I think that on one side, you've got these people who, no matter what he does, it's wrong. Okay, and I classify that as Trump derangement syndrome. That he has done some good things, and he plans to do some good things. On the other extreme, you have people who say that no matter what he does, it's right. No, he's made some mistakes. He has a tinge of arrogance. He has a tinge of um, a lack of forgiveness. I mean, he's a human being. He's not a god. Okay, and so not everything he does is perfect. Not everything he does is wrong. He is a human being. He's in the middle, and we need to look at that objectively and be thankful for the good things, and then find a way to fix the bad things. Um, and so I think that's humankind. So when we talk about whether it be the Middle East, whether we talk about it being East versus West, and when we talk about East versus West, I'm talking about whether it be China or whether it be Russia. I consider Russia more Eastern than Western, Eastern European at least. So we have these dichotomies, and so people think differently. And what we need to do is bring people in a willingness to find common grounds. There has to be a willingness to find the common ground in order to find it. Remember, you always find what you're looking for. If you're looking for an excuse to dislike somebody, you will always find it. If you look for a reason to have common ground, it's a little bit more difficult, but it can be done as well. Um, you see. Wouldn't that be nice? Who said that? Somebody said maybe China saw enough. Theoxerus. Maybe China saw enough of our capability to slow their roll too. I would hope so. Uh, um, I agree. Factious war is always the last resort. We need diplomacy to work as much as possible. And 329 here. Where is here, Gunswater? What state? Um, Sumi says it's gone up 20 cents per liter, so that's about 80 cents a gallon since the new prime minister canceled the carbon tax. So California is going up 60 cents a gallon, and yeah. You know, there was a law passed that we were supposed to be metric by, when was that, 1980? We were supposed to change over from the imperial to the metric system by 1980. I don't know if the law ever got vacated or what, but we haven't done it. If you look on our cars, on the odometers and speedometers, back in the 70s and 80s, everything was both miles and kilometers. And but now it's down to where it's only miles again. So I don't know. I don't know. But I like the metric system, only because that's what we used in the military. So I learned that for 21 years and really appreciate it. Okay. Wow. Say your prayers. Okay. Make sure that this ceasefire holds. Let's pray. There's always hope that Iran will adhere to the agreements that they make, and that there won't be any more violence, no more bloodshed anywhere. And gosh, if we can just get this world to be a better place, wouldn't that be wonderful? Okay, let me finish this up. Don't forget, Thursday night is Blaine Pardot's book, A Most Uncivil War. Fantastic book, part of the Blue Dawn series, volume 2 of the Blue Dawn series. I tell you, he is writing about our government right now in that book. It is unbelievable. What a great book. Now, I'm going to put a caveat here. Thursday night, when you come back, we're not going to have the kind of prepper secrets or prepper advice that we've had in the John Grammer books, or we've had in the Franklin Horton books, or that we've had in the Chris Weatherman, A American books, or any of those, okay, where they give these nice little prepper tips throughout the books. You're not going to get that in the Blaine Pardot books. What you are going to get, however, are some secrets about how to deal with subterfuge and dealing with other people in a very contentious society. So, how do you go undercover? How do you size somebody up? A lot of good tips about it in that. So, look forward to seeing you Thursday night, 8 o'clock. We'll be talking about Blaine Pardot's A Most Uncivil War. So, for this evening, the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verses 24, 25, 26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you. The Lord look upon you kindly and grant you peace. And it appears we have been graciously been granted peace in our time. So thank you all for joining us this evening. Don't forget, like, and don't forget to subscribe. I should have a new short out tomorrow. And then Thursday, we will have our fiction book club. Okay, take care, everybody. Great to see you. Have a great evening. And thank God we're going to be safe this evening. But keep your head on a swivel, just in case. Okay, bye-bye.